So, what do you know about autism in the martial arts? I can tell you I know plenty. I've had two students that were identified to me as being on the autistic scale. One small child, one adult, a 5-year old, and he might have been about 25 years old. And they both did very well. The martial arts are a great therapy for two things I can think of offhand. They have to do with developmental abilities: autism and dyspraxia. Dyspraxia is basically, the best way I can sum it up is they can't tell their left from their right. And there are a lot of kids that have that. Now, what I did to treat them or to help with their treatment is nothing. I did nothing special. I was just patient, and I just expected them to do what everybody else could do. And they did it. I didn't try to modify too many things for them. The 25-year-old, I did modify the joint lock, the wrist locking thing. I modified that a little bit because everybody has trouble with that anyway. And instead of really not being able to do it, he was sort of like overcompensating. He was overdoing it. He was exaggerating the motion too much. So I just really super simplified the motion, and he did it, and his wrist locks hurt. So that was good enough for me. And with the 5-year-old, there was at one point where he would make random noises in class. I just would say his name and I'll just say his name is Terry. That wasn't his name. I'll say, not now, Terry, or settle down, Terry, and just keep going. And that was it. And he stopped. I even had him participate in one of our demonstrations, and he performed just like anybody else who was at his rank. They tend to take a little longer to learn, yeah, but they can learn. And Terry did so well, in fact, that his mother took him out of the class and put him in basketball. I was like, why'd you take him out of class and someone to basketball? So you're not going to have to do this anymore? She's like, well, honestly, I just wanted him to be able to focus more, and so I wanted him to play basketball, and you got him to focus, so thank you. I was like, oh, okay, fine. I was hoping I could see him up through the ranks, but fine, I helped him. That's what we're here for. And the 25-year-old, excuse me, I got him to the point where, I'm not going to go into detail how I know, but he could handle the type of person that would probably bully him. And I've seen him demonstrate technique to the ability where he could probably handle someone who would be most likely to bully him, particularly like teenagers. And he did great. So that's not much more I could ask for. I really wish he'd come back because he only had another year to get his black belt. So he did well. So if anybody has autism, just find a patient teacher and find someone who's willing to work with them. I guess depending upon where they are in terms of the autistic scale, which I don't know a lot about, would probably dictate what type of class you want to put them in. But, I mean, I run a community center class. My classes tend to be pretty small, except for my Thursday night class. And if you tell me the child has a problem, I'll keep an eye out for it. And 9 times out of 10, honestly, they just want to be treated like everybody else. And if you treat them like everybody else and just have the same expectations, they tend to do okay. And you want to know what else really helps, to be honest? There's 2 things that helps, and it's from the parents. Number 1, parents need to set reasonable, realistic expectations and don't go off on a child all the time if they have trouble learning something and get impatient. If I'm not getting impatient or frustrated, you shouldn't be getting impatient or frustrated. That's number 1. And number 2, you should consider taking a class yourself, because my classes that are non-toddler are from ages 6 to adult. So you could get in the class. Now, don't stop every 5 minutes and try to correct a child. You do it, and then when you get home, you review. When you practice, they practice. You're learning the form, you go through the form, and then you help them go through the form. You're probably going to progress faster because you're an adult, of course, or you're not on the autism scale, but that's fine. You help them, and you do it together, and you guys bond together. And not only will you be helping your child, you'll both be having fun. So that's what I know about autism and the martial arts. But I'm not the only one. Go to YouTube, search for autism, martial arts, and there are plenty of people out there that are using their traditional martial arts, their combat sports, to help people with autism. And having fun doing it too. Peace.